My name is Dkt.Efraim Njau, the currently Acting Director General of Tropical Pesticide Research Institute, which is situated in Arusha region in northern Tanzania. TPHPA is an institution which is mandated to control the pesticides which are entering into the country as an important incentive for agriculture, but not only for agriculture, but for public health and for the environment. Formerly, TPHPA used to be more of a research institution, but as per Act which was passed by the Parliament of United Republic of Tanzania recently, Act number 4 of the year 2020 has changed TPHPA to become TPHPA, which means Tanzania Plant Health and Pesticide Authority. The authority which will be responsible to oversee that the agribusiness in the country, especially for crops, high-value crops like vegetables, fruits, but also all the traditional crops, coffee, cotton, cashew nuts, and the rest, that they comply with the international regulations of IPPC, WTO, so that they fetch markets in the European Union markets, in American markets, and Chinese markets. For this reason, TPHPA is about to accredit its laboratories, and we are looking forward to accredit the labs to follow a quality system through SADCAS based on the ISO 17025 for her testing laboratories and the ISO 17020 for inspection. This is to comply with the issues of SPS, sanitary and phytosanitary services, such that when we give our certificates, after we get the accreditation, they will be respected throughout the world, and they will be up to that standard which is required for international markets. As management of TPHPA and the Director General, we are very much committed to see to it that this step is achieved in and through 4 important aspects. One, through training of personnel, that we have to have a personnel, lab technicians, those which control systems which are up to standard. Secondly, through purchasing of state-of-art equipments, to include such modern equipments like HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. We are going to ensure also that we have GCMS. Now we have few, but we are going to increase their numbers through use of microwave, plasma atomic absorption spectroscopy, and all other equipments. Thirdly, we'll improve our facilities, the lab facilities, including even the nature of chemicals which we are going to purchase. They should be of that standard. They should be of standard which comply with the ISO standards, and they will have all the requirements like the certificates. And finally, we are going to ensure welfare of our staff who will be working within the system. Through this, we are very much committed to ensure that we comply and we get accreditation, and not only to get accreditation, but to ensure its sustainability, so that the country is going to achieve its objective of having an institution which is accredited, which will facilitate trade not only in the nation, the region of East Africa, but internationally.
My name is Oshengi Sheila. I'm the Acting Director of Technical Services. We have been struggling to accredit one of our laboratories. Principally, we have 3 laboratories. We have the pesticide formulation laboratory, we have the pesticide residue laboratory, as well as the plant health laboratory, which mostly deals with the condition and the quality of the plant related matters. And as the institute, we want to make sure that we are offering the acceptable, reliable and quality results to our customers to facilitate their trade, mostly because we are service oriented and we want our customers to be satisfied with what we are offering. One of the methodology or approach to make sure that we're offering the required services is to accredit our services. And right now we are preparing to accredit the pesticide laboratory. So we are in that process, and right now we are preparing the documentation. We are doing some practicals to see how competent we are. Are we doing as per required standards? Also, we have submitted the application to be accredited to the SADCAS, which is the Southern African Development Accreditation Body under the Sub-Saharan Africa. So we are waiting for them to come and assess us. So prior to the final assessment, we need to make sure that we follow all the steps and the requirement as per standard. So we are doing some rehearsals to see how competent are we. At what stage are we competent? What do we need to correct before the final assessment? What do we need to put in place before the final assessment? Our goal actually is to make sure that we don't miss the accreditation at the end of the day, because that is our premium goal. And by having accreditation to accredit our laboratory, it will add value to our services, because our results are going to be accepted internationally to facilitate the agricultural trade, because some of the customers have been complaining that we are not offering accredited services to them, such that they are bold to find services out of the country. Some go to Kenya to get such services. So we thought and discussed with the customers, we thought it's now the right time to get our laboratory accredited. So in that short remarks, probably I should invite my co-staff, who is the head of division of the section which is related to overseeing all function and services under the laboratory services, and that is Tano Hangali, who will take us through exactly what are we going to do, what are we doing right now, what are the future expectations after we have acquired accreditation, and how are we going to sustain the laboratory services and accreditation. Because principally, when you get accreditation, that is not permanent. You still have to abide to the requirement of the standard. Void of doing that, that means they will withdraw the accreditation. So we need to put things in place to make sure accreditation will be sustainable. Not that we get today and the day after or after a year, then the accreditation is withdrawn. No, not that way. This should be sustainable to facilitate and sustain our customers. So in that few remarks and short remarks, let me invite Mr. Tano, who will have to give us the details and the approach of exactly how are we going to prepare ourselves toward the final assessment of accrediting our laboratory.
Oh, thank you. My name is Tano Hangali. As my director said, I'm the head of the division on which the two labs which deals with pesticide analysis are based. And as he said, one of the lab is known as Pesticide Formulation Laboratory, but normally known as Quality Assurance and Analytical Lab. And another lab is Pesticide Residue Laboratory. These two labs have quite important roles in the country, as we use them for the regulatory purpose of pesticide management. In pesticide formulation laboratory, what we do there is pesticide quality verification. Every time the consignments gets into the country, we take sample from the entry points back to the lab. We carry out analysis to see if the product is up to standard. And if it is substandard, then the importer will be forced to return the consignment from the country of origin. This is to ensure that the farmers get the right products of good quality so that they increase their productivity. And apart from samples from arriving consignments, we are also getting samples from on-market products. We do have a regular surveillance and inspection on markets, pesticide products in the market. And sometimes there is complaints from farmers that some products are not working well. So we go there and pick sample and come back to the lab to verify if it's real that the product is not working well. Apart from pesticide formulation laboratory, we also have, as I said, we have pesticide residue laboratory. This lab deals with analysis of pesticide residues from agricultural produce, from environmental compartments such as soil and air, as well as water. The aim of this lab is for environmental compliance and protection of the human health. As you know that pesticides are toxic to human as well as to the animals, and so we should do pesticide residue analysis in agricultural produce, in water, soil, as well as air. We use a very sophisticated we use a state-of-art equipment in carrying such analysis. We have high-performance liquid chromatography for pesticide quality verification. We also have gas chromatography, which we also use in pesticide formulation analysis. But we have gas chromatography mass spectrometer, GCMS, for pesticide residue analysis in agricultural produce and soil samples as well as water samples. We also have another instrument which is mainly on metal analysis from plant parts, also in metals in soil, metals in water, as well as heavy metals. This instrument, we call it microplasma atomic emission spectrometer. So these are a few basic equipment we have in our daily routine. And as you may recall, now we're in the process of accrediting this lab. these two labs so that we abide to the international requirement, because now as a country we are expecting to provide services to the exporters who export plant produce outside the country, such as vegetables, fruits, and so on. So today we are having the summary activities of witness test, which is a way forward for the forthcoming external assessment from SADCAS. This activity will take us from the sample reception point way back to analysis, and finally to result generation and preparation of the analytical certificate. So we will be witnessing each analyst related to how do they receive samples, how do they record samples in the record books, how do they prepare samples, and then how do they run the equipment, which I have already mentioned. And finally, we will also witness how do they produce the results, because the final result is what we go to the end user, that the client, the customers. I am taking you back to the analyst in charge. Our analyst in charge is Mr. Jumanne Rajab Salam. He will come here to take us through all the sample processes up to result generation. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Jumanne.
My name is Jumanne Rajabu Musalama. I'm the analyst in charge for pesticide, and I'm actually analyst in charge of this laboratory, pesticide formulation and residues. I thank you very much, the head of division, Mr. Tano Angali, for welcoming me so that I give a brief of what we are doing in this laboratory. Our laboratory is dealing with pesticide analysis, both residues and formulation. And this is the laboratory where we are doing pesticide formulation analysis. We have different compartments for pesticide analysis. So we do receive samples, we do analyze, and we do release results. We have competent analysts and the specialized equipment that will enable us to release reliable results. Our laboratory, as you may see, we have pesticide formulations, including different types of pesticide formulation. There are dusty formulations, there are flowables, liquid formulation like ECs and others. All those we are responsible for analyzing and verifying their qualities, that they are suited for the agricultural use. And again, for residue purposes, we are analyzing to ensure that the food is safe. What is consumed by food and animals are safe from pesticide residues. So we are here to ensure that results that are produced by this laboratory are reliable and good. To do that, we have good system of receiving the sample, distribution to the analysts, sample analysis, and result release. We used to check all the quality parameters to ensure that our results are reliable and agreeable to our customers and different bodies. So from point of reception up to the point of result release, we have different competent people